Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, first modification for me, Traxxas TRX4. Now I've only had this about a week and I've done some pretty decent bashing on it and some rock crawling and things like that, and the first thing that came to light was the front servo is a little bit weak. When the car is up like this and then you're leaning on the wheel, you really want to have a servo that will push you off of the rock, and the servo that's in this car just can't do it. Also, you can tell it's working really hard, so how long it will actually last in this truck, driving it the way I do. So I looked around and everybody said that one of the best ones you could go for to replace the servo was this Savox SW-1210SG waterproof 7.4, and it pushes a, how much? What does it say? I think it's, is it 15, 20 kg? Oh, I can't remember. Doesn't say. I think it's a 15 kg, something like that, but compared to what you're running in the car by standard, it's a massive step up. And I've checked on a few of the forums and the guys recommended it as well. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but it's a cordless servo too. So it's the Digit 4096. And everybody that said if you're going to upgrade it, you definitely need to have a metal horn as well, otherwise you'll just shear off. So this is nothing groundbreaking. Loads of people recommend this. So that was my first stop on the Traxxas ownership modification journey. Right, so it sits up here. Now I haven't even really looked at it, so a lot of this is more Allen key orientated. Right, so
remember, too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing. Alright, it ain't my style to act coy. Some might even say that I'm a super rude boy. I don't agree. No, just so you know, I'm a real gentleman. I'll prove it, I'll show. I might come on a little strong, but remember, too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing still a good thing. Too much of a good thing. Listen here, y'all. I'll be putting in your hand, babe. That's your thing. It's the
I will reuse this servo. It will probably go in something a little bit less strenuous, some kind of car of some sort, where I'm not looking for anything special. So it might end up dropping into some vintage car. Might even end up going in the hotshot that I just fixed. I don't think it's anything. I think it's the same size as everything else, every other normal standard servo. So, because that servo in my hotshot didn't sound too brilliant. It worked okay, but it didn't seem too overly happy.
it ain't my style to act coy. Some might even say that I'm a super rude boy. I don't agree. No, just so you know, I'm a real gentleman. I'll prove it, I'll show. I might come on a little strong, but remember, too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a good thing is still a good thing. Too much of a
Yeah, that's a bit stronger. That'll do the job all right. Wow, okay. So I finally upgraded the servo in the TRX4. So now I have a nice strong Savox 15 kg, I think it was, pull, and that's great. But the problem is that it would travel too far. Normally you trim down the travel on the servo in the receiver, but the Traxxas TRX4 Sport doesn't have that function in the receiver or the transmitter, which means that yes, you can have a fantastic range of steering, but when you hit the end, you're basically running the drive shafts at too tight an angle, so you get a rattling, which is not that great. But what I've done is I've removed the receiver and I've put a different receiver in, and I've hooked it up to this controller. Now this controller and the receiver, you can fully customize everything. So I've now set this car up to have basically as much travel as possible before it starts rattling the front drive shafts. As well as with this transmitter, you can actually set how smooth your acceleration is and your braking and everything. So it's so much better now. I can have it that I have more trigger for more gentle pulls for climbing rocks and things like that. Also, I can have 9 cars on this, so it's well worth doing. So I've taken the Traxxas transmitter and receiver out, and I've actually put them in a different car already. Just a very basic running kind of car, where this one being a crawler, there's much more to it. Now don't ask me why, but I decided that I was going to remove the paint behind the windows and then cut round the sticker to give the edge of the windows. It worked out really well. I just used some Tamiya polycarbonate cleaner and some earbuds, and I just spent ages just slowly removing the paint from underneath, and then I trimmed the edges, and then from the other side I just worked the paint back until it was behind the black lines, and that was it. So it's nice and easy. Well, after having the car for the weekend, I cracked on and did a few more modifications. I removed all the paint from the windows. I cut out the blacked out window and left just the black surround. So I now have clear windows on all 3 sides. I haven't done the back yet, but it does take a while. So I thought I'd just have a bit of a break from that and enjoy driving it. Apart from that, I removed a few of the normal stickers. I also cut the tyres, so I've changed the tread on the front 2 tyres to make them a bit more aggressive for grabbing. I also modified the back to improve the departure angle. So you basically take out the bracket, you turn the bracket up the other way, and because the bracket is pointing in one direction, when you flip it up the other way, it raises the bumper up. I also removed the tow hitch from the bottom of the bumper so it doesn't grab that sticks out, so I removed that. So the departure angle for this car is much higher. I had to cut the back of the body because the bumper now is right up higher. You can see it sits by the lights, and then you have to trim round these sides to make sure that you get better clearance here. Otherwise, if you leave it hanging, it comes right the way down here, and then it would just rip it. So you have to trim the back of the body. The front's actually pretty good itself anyway, so you don't have to adjust much. If anything, the front is better than the back, even after the modification. I had to raise up the body marginally at the back because I didn't want to cut too much out of the back. I still wanted the lights and the fake tail gate to look normal. If I didn't raise up the body and the body was lower, the bumper would be up almost here. So I've kind of dialed it out across the back, from moving the bumper up to raising the body up fractionally to trimming the body. So it still looks reasonably stock. The only thing that looks slightly different is this section here, you'd normally assume it would be. Car's pretty much dialed in now. I've got new Proline tyres coming, and also I picked up a second set of these tyres because I was messing around with them. I wasn't sure whether they were going to improve things, I was going to damage the tyres. So I have managed to pick up a very cheap set of replacement stock tyres as well, and they were such a good deal I can just leave them on the side, and then when I wear out these ones I can just swap them over. But I got the knack of trimming off the bobbles, so I got it looking really nice, so you'd barely know that it was modified. What's next? Well, I have got another electronic speed controller, Hobbywing one, that I could put in this, but it's brushless, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to put brushless in this car or not. I do have a brushless motor, but I don't know whether it'll just be bonkers too much power. For some of you Tamiya guys that have always wanted to know how big the actual Traxxas is versus something that you may know, if I take it off its stand. So this is the TRX4, and this is the lunchbox. So height wise, not a lot in it, slightly higher. Lengthways, quite a bit longer. Wheel size, and if you can see, the wheels on the Traxxas are higher, they're bigger. So that's just how big the Traxxas TRX4 is versus the lunchbox. It's a lot bigger, a lot longer, makes the lunchbox look very dumpy. And the tyres are much bigger, not as wide as the lunchbox, but taller. But there you go, just a bit of information for you. Right, that's it. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye bye.